So it's been one full month with the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. No more launch day excitement, no 1 week impressions, just a full month of real daily use. From just browsing the web to watching lots of YouTube videos, playing games, using it for social media, AI tools, filming videos, taking photos, all of that stuff I've been doing in the past month I want to share with you guys. And the S26 Ultra is still one of the most powerful Android phones you can buy right now after a month of using this phone. After its launch, I can still confidently say this. And I'm talking mainly here in the US market because we're not getting phones from outside the US. Whatever phones we have here in the US, whether it be from Apple, Samsung, Google, OnePlus, at least right now OnePlus, we'll see later down the road in the next couple months what happens to OnePlus. But I can't really say that there's other devices competing with this because I'm focused strictly in the US market. But there are some things that are worth talking about, especially this display, the build material, and just the battery life and some other stuff. So let's get right into it. So starting things off with the design of the S26 Ultra, it feels extremely premium in the hand. First of all, you can tell it's more rounded than its predecessors. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with it. But there is one major change with the design or the material, and that's the fact that Samsung ditched titanium for aluminum. Obviously, they're using the strongest aluminum they've used in devices with this S26 Ultra. And again, Samsung says the goal was to make the phone slimmer and lighter while maintaining durability. But the main thing here with switching to aluminum obviously is to help with heat dissipation. And heat dissipation on this has been phenomenal. I have not had any instance where this phone got warm to the touch at all. And that says a lot. Now this phone is a tad bit thinner than its predecessor, and that's completely okay. It sits at around 7.9 millimeters. It weighs around 214 grams. So it's still on the slight, a hefty side when it comes to weight, but also is not that bad when compared to its predecessors. It also is IP68 dust and water resistance. I haven't kind of dunked this in water, so I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. But knowing that I have that is just, it's great. Regardless though, after a month of this use, it feels solid. The one downside I don't like about this is whoever designed the S Pen, sitting on the corner of this, it's you need to remove it in one, or you can remove it, but you have to insert it in one specific direction because the end part of this S Pen is also curved. So if you don't insert it the correct way, then it doesn't sit flush. So that is a bit unfortunate. But everything else about this design and build, I really do like. When it comes to colors, I like this cobalt violet, but I think, later on down the road, I think I might switch to the black just to have a matte black S26 Ultra because that did look really good in person. I like the colors this year. There's definitely been better colors in previous S series devices, but this one's not bad at all. Definitely would recommend to check these out in person. So yeah, even though titanium may be more premium of a material, most people they're not going to notice the difference in everyday use. And I think it was meant, I think it was better for them to switch, honestly, because of it. Like I said, I haven't noticed any issues with this phone getting warm to the touch, and that says a lot. Now this display is phenomenal. I love this display. And yes, I think we should kind of stop talking about this whole kind of miscommunication about first it being a 10-bit display, but it's in reality it's an 8-bit display. Most people who are picking up this S26 Ultra will not care about this panel being an 8-bit display. I get it, there are some who really care about it and use or would need a 10-bit panel for specific purposes, but most people picking this up will not care. And I know some people who have older Ultra devices, and they were asking me about the new Ultra, S26 Ultra, and I told them this thing going on, and they were like, well, I don't care. I really don't. If it had a 10-bit panel or if it still had the 8-bit panel, which it currently does, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't make a difference whether I bought the phone or not. Like, it's not a deal breaker for me. Most people won't care, but some will, and that is completely okay. But even if though it has that, it still is excellent in real world use. The 6.9-inch display is awesome. It's a 120 hertz refresh rate. Again, very fast, buttery smooth. The brightness gets pretty bright, great contrast and color. And there is some improved processing and tuning, but you won't notice a huge difference over the predecessor, which is saying a good thing. I mean, that display on this S25 Ultra was good. This one doesn't disappoint either. Now, the big thing with this display, it's not the 8-bit panel and things like that. It's more so the privacy display. So for me right now, at least I've turned it off for duration right now. But the only thing I have turned on with the privacy display is conditions. So whenever I get a notification, that's when it blurs out the notification. But you can turn on privacy display, kind of like grays it out. So when you look at it head on, you won't see anything. But as soon as you shift, whether it's the horizontal axis, left and right, or vertical axis, top and down, you're not going to be able to see anything. Now, the quality is definitely a little washed out. Obviously, it's going to like kind of close up pixels, and it's going to reduce the amount of pixels showcasing around you. So it's just focusing the pixels to the person direct rather than showcasing pixels towards the side. And yeah, I see why people say, oh, the quality is pretty bad. Well, you know what? If it's bad, just turn it off. Easy as that, right? And here's the thing. You can turn on geolocation, so when you leave your house, it turns on. When you get back home, it turns off. Or whether you get, like, as soon as you get to work, it turns on. You get home from work, as soon as you leave your workplace in the car, it turns off. So you can change that up accordingly. But I really do like this feature. So Samsung has been working on this for 5 years, and I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, of course, the important thing here with the S26 Ultra, I think one of the parts that still continues to shine with this is the software and the performance. So inside, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy can be found in this phone, and the performance has been extremely smooth. Like, apps open instantly, number one. Multitasking feels effortless. Number two, gaming performance is stable. My go-to game, again, is Call of Duty. Samsung also did redesign the vapor cooling chamber system, which does help or continue to help the phone maintain performance during long gaming sessions. And also, because of that redesigned vapor cooling chamber and aluminum rather than titanium, but also the software optimization, it's just been great with heat dissipation. Again, I'm saying this again, but no overheating whatsoever. That is saying a lot. But the main thing with the software aspect is Samsung is pushing AI features. Photo Assist, Creative Studio, Audio Eraser. Like, you get all these features here. And in fact, at the time of this recording, I don't have the feature yet, but Samsung is rolling out AirDrop for the S26 series. And I may make an updated video on that, or maybe just a shorts. But at the time of this recording, the news broke out. Like, it's actually coming out this week while I'm recording this video. I just don't have it right now on my S26 Ultra, but that is saying a lot. So I can essentially send photos or videos or files, whatever, AirDrop them to my iPhone or to my Mac. So if that was a big deal breaker for you, especially like you use your phone for making content and you wanted to get a MacBook for like Final Cut Pro, whatever, you can record on here or take photos, AirDrop to your MacBook, and you're all set to go. No issues whatsoever. And it's probably going to come to older devices. We just don't know when. So I'm excited nonetheless. You do get Android 16 with One UI 8.5, 7 years of software updates. I mean, Samsung has come a long way in the software department, and I couldn't be happier. And I also love just the look and feel of One UI 8.5, just as really aesthetically pleasing. I did get some questions, or I do in my videos, of just my icon, my dark icon pack, and I made a separate video of what's on my S26 Ultra. So if you want to check that out, I go over this. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below for that. When we get to the cameras continues to be one of the biggest highlights of devices. And with the S26 Ultra, it's no exception. So while the main camera is still 200 megapixels, we now get a wider f1.4 aperture that's going to allow the sensor to capture significantly more light, essentially improving low light photography. But for me, the biggest upgrades that I have personally enjoyed are the video capabilities. One, there's log video recording, a new APV video codec, there's built-in LUTs for color grading, and then improved horizontal steady lock stabilization has just been great. This just feels more like a phone, a camera phone that works for those in the content space. And while I relied a lot on my iPhone to record content, I've really come to enjoy the Pro Video mode where I can record in log. So I go to more right here. You go to Pro Video and you see the LUTs right here. You can get a preview of the LUT. Right now it's on Blockbuster. I can go to standard or I can just go off. And even though, like, let's say I record in the Blockbuster, so I get a preview, it'll save the file without the LUT, and then you could add in the LUT or any other LUT in the Photos app afterwards. So that is saying a lot. Now it's going to take up some storage, so you want to make sure you have an ample amount of storage if you're going to be using this as your main device for recording videos. But after a month of testing this, it's been actually top 3 camera system that I would use. Yep, iPhone, Pixel, and the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Those are a top 3, and if I ever go anywhere with either one of those 3 devices, then yeah, I think I would be okay. Like, choosing either one of them, I'd be okay. I just have to know exactly if I'm going on a vacation sightseeing, I'd probably bring the S26 Ultra and use that, especially because it still has the 100x zoom, which is better than Pixel's 100x zoom. It just works out better and it's more usable. But I think you'll like the cameras on the S26 Ultra, both for photos and for videos. The battery life now has seen an improvement. The capacity is still the same as the previous Ultra, 5,000 milliamp hours, but I guess with Samsung, it's like you either choose one or you get the other. So you either get the same battery capacity but faster charging speeds, or you ditch faster charging speeds and get a physically larger battery. Samsung was like, you know what? Let's put in 60 watts of wireless charging and up to 25 watts of wireless. But let's keep the same battery capacity. And first of all, it charges really quick, like 75% in like 35-ish minutes, which is perfect. And you don't need to charge it at night anymore. Or I still wouldn't. Previously, I would just wake up in the morning, charge it for like an hour, I'm all set to go. But this definitely lasted much longer, 7.5 hours to 8 hours of screen on time. And if you're a light user, easily a 2-day phone for me, easily lasts me all day. Obviously, I did charge this up to 100% for this video and have been using a little bit before, so I'm at 89% right now. But I'm getting 7 hours easily of screen on time every single day when I'm using this phone very heavily. Like, I'm really happy with the battery life. Hopefully Samsung, and they said they're committed to kind of researching and looking into silicon carbon batteries and seeing how they can implement it. Obviously, there's no Qi 2 magnets. That's because of the S Pen. Hopefully Samsung can find some sort of a solution with that. It's either, right now, like, if they can't find a solution to it, it's either you ditch the S Pen for Qi 2 or you just don't get Qi 2 magnets. But I feel like Samsung can find a solution for having both. I think they can in some way, shape, or form. I mean, they axed the Note lineup and they fused it with the S Ultra. I hope Samsung continues to use the S Pen. The S Pen did lose the Bluetooth capabilities from previous, from the S24 Ultra, but this has become really handy and it's the best stylus that you can get for a phone and it's built right in. So I hope Samsung doesn't remove it. But just to kind of wrap things up after 1 month of using this, the biggest takeaway is that this phone is about refinement rather than reinvention, and Samsung is done chasing numbers. But Samsung did improve in the performance, in cooling, camera capabilities, charging speeds, adding AI features. And while some of the changes may annoy some from switching from titanium to aluminum and not having a 10-bit display, which it was a bit upsetting at first when we were told that initially it did have a 10-bit panel. Now it's an 8-bit panel. Like, yeah, that is upsetting. But kind of reflecting on it afterwards, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with it. But despite all that, putting that aside, the overall experience on this has been excellent. The Galaxy S26 Ultra still feels, like I said, one of the most complete Android flagship phones that you can buy today, especially here in the US. But the real question is, do these refinements actually make it worth upgrading? Or did Samsung play a little too safe, I'll put it this way, this year with the S26 Ultra? At least question number one, or the answer to question number one, do these refinements actually make it worth upgrading? It depends on the phone you have. If you have an S23 or newer, no. Anything older, yes. And did Samsung play it a little too safe? Not too much with the S26 Ultra, but with the S26 and 26 Plus, yes. In fact, I think those were afterthoughts. Samsung just threw them out there just because, like, they just wanted to be like, all right, well, we have successor to these two, but we didn't really do much this year. So those I would think twice, but this one, like, if you were in the market for a new Samsung device, I think Ultra is the way to go. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, definitely be sure to superman that like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video because it really does help out the channel out a lot. It will help push my content out to more people. And also definitely be sure to check out the cases that I'm currently using. These are from Banks. They're not sponsoring this video, although I've worked with them in the past. I genuinely like their cases. This one is the Armor, I think it's like the Armor Pro case or the Armor Lite. But yeah, this one, first of all, it's minimal, clean. It's got MagSafe capability. It works really well, and it just looks really good on the phone too. So yeah, links in the description down below. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I'll catch you all in the next episode.